The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, looking good, Billy Ray, feeling good, Lewis. Well, today we are going to be talking about the FTSE and the DAX. As you can see, those bearish patterns that we've been looking at certainly have kicked in. Whether they're going to last more than a day or two, I don't know, but nobody else does either. Folks, I have been doing this business a long time, and there's one thing that I can tell you with a great deal of confidence is when the news is bullish and things don't go up, there's only one place for it to go, and that's down. That's really a bad sign. We're seeing not only the possibility of a topping action in here, we're seeing negative reactions to news. I know the big one that everyone was talking about last night was Amazon. I want to bring this up and show you. Look what Amazon did, folks. This is a $3,500 stock. It took out the high of August by $3. Now, that's a possibility of a double top in here. It's already broken $200 from the high that it made. I mean, that's not a lot when it's $3,500, but that's a big sign. But there's even one that is even, everybody's involved with this one, and that's Apple. Look at Apple, how bad it looks. I mean, we went right up to the 78% level there at 38.58, and now we're trading down around 32 or something. I mean, that's not good action. Now, maybe that's not going to last for very long, but when the market doesn't react to bullish news, it tells you it's either tired or something's really wrong. So you've got to be able to lock that in and remind yourself of that. We're seeing some other things, with these big patterns that we've talked about all week long. That look very, very important. Now, they may or may not happen, but I don't know. If you remember here the other day, we were talking here about the euro and the U.S. dollar, and there's the U.S. dollar index. You'll see we made a three drive to a bottom pattern down there. We've had a big move today in the dollar. This means that maybe it's not as dead as people think it is. So we've got to pay very close attention to that three drive pattern that we had over those few days. That was similar to what we were seeing in the euro when it got up to that 121.60, I believe, or whatever that high was in there. We broke over 100 points in the euro during that time. I still believe that we've got a chance to buy gold somewhere around the 1750 level. It may not be today or tomorrow, but it probably might be next week. But we'll keep watching it very, very closely. Now, folks, this is the weekend of the Kentucky Derby, and some people have asked me to talk about some of my horse stories, and I'll be happy to do that. But there is a horse in the Derby that's got a legitimate chance. He's called Rock My World, and it's coming out of California. He won the California Santa Anita Derby, which is one of the major races in the country. And he's got a very good trainer, John Sadler. And Sadler wouldn't be coming to Kentucky if he didn't have a chance to win that race. He's going to be about 8 or 9 to 1, so he'll be a pretty good price. But he's got a really good chance, and he's a very, very, very good horse. So keep an eye on that one. Very, very interesting. Okay, now, one of my favorite horse stories I've told many times, but I'll tell you again. It was back in 1972. I was at Santa Anita on the infield with Eddie Horowitz, and he had been waiting. Eddie was an attorney. He did all the legal stuff, and that's how I got involved with expert witnessing. And he was a handicapper. He loved to handicap, but he was a broker for Hayden Stone. He was a platinum broker. He had all the big accounts, and he had huge amounts. Anyway, someone's asking if horses wear masks for social distancing. No, they don't really care about that. They're treated better than humans, folks. Those horses live like kings because it's the sport of kings. But anyway, we were there to see a horse that Eddie had waited on for 2 years. The name of the horse was I'm an Old Pro, and he was written by Bobby Howard. So I was there with Eddie. I made my bet, and Eddie said, how much did you bet? And I said, I bet $60. I bet 20 across the board. And he got really angry with me, and he said, look, I waited 2 years for this horse, and you're only going to bet $60. He said, how much you got on me? I said, I got a couple $100. He said, go bet all of it. I said, okay, well, he's my friend. And so I said, yep, I'm going to go ahead and bet all of it. And he was a number one horse. And so the race starts, and we're in the infield, so you can see the horses running right by the side, but when they're on the far side of the turn, you don't get to see it. Well, anyway, the number one horse takes off like a rocket, and he's ahead by about 10 lengths. He's down to 5. Rock the World is down to 5-1. That's still a good price. Anyway, the horse is way ahead. He's had about 8 or 9 lengths at the top of the backstretch, in which and Eddie was cussing and screaming and yelling, "No, no, no! Don't do that! Don't do that!" And I said, "What's wrong, Eddie? What's wrong?" He said, "Well, that horse should come from behind to win." And we get to the far backstretch before they come to the stretch, and he's up by about 15 lengths. And Eddie said, "Oh, we're doomed. There's no way the horse can finish the last quarter of a mile or last half a mile. They're going to catch him." And the horse keeps running and running and running. He wins by about 30 lengths. And I had one of my largest days that I ever had at the track. Not the largest, but very large. We went over $20,000 on that with the exacta that we had bet. So there's a lot of losers in between, boys and girls, but there's been some good ones along the way. All in all, I've been very, very lucky. So I am pretty lucky anyway. But anyway, that was one. There's other stories, but I don't want to interrupt because the market is so important here, folks. Should we close below 41.65 today? That means we're going to have a reversal from where we were on that big day when the Federal Reserve came in and did all their stuff. That was on Tuesday or Wednesday. Yeah, I think it was Tuesday. And there's another situation where they had the most bullish news you could possibly come and see. You'd be able to see that. So anyway, so those are just a few of the things that we're keeping an eye on. Watch how the market's reacting to news, folks. It really means something. If you've ever read Reminiscences of an Operator by Edwin Lefevre, it's a story of Jesse Livermore. That book is replete with example after example of how things react to that. And we've seen it many times here. How many times have we seen bad news and the market goes up, and we've seen good news and the market goes down? Remember March 23rd when the world was coming to an end and we were looking at the Spanish flu stone cold in the face, and the S&P was down about 100 200 handles from where we are right now? I mean, it was the greatest time in the world to buy anything. So you got to remember that. When markets don't react well, boy, I tell you, the commodity markets, to me, that's really something. Look at lumber today, folks. We're almost at $1,500 a square foot in lumber. Who would ever thought? That's 5 times where we were six months ago. I mean, that's an incredible amount. I mean, and lumber is indigestible. You can't eat it. You can build with it, but you can't eat it. So keep in mind that's what we're looking at here. I was hoping Mr. Norm Winski was going to call in today because he was calling for something dramatic to happen in the stock market this week, and I think he was off by about a day, and I think we should really let him know about that. I mean, last time he gave us one of these, it was right on the day, but this time he was off a day. I wonder what he was doing wrong this time. Anyway, yes, there is it's very interesting about Apple. And, it's really interesting because Apple is so widely held by everyone. But their news on Apple was so bullish, and just like the news on Amazon was so bullish. And it should be. Look where these stocks are. But we'll see whether these things turn or not. Big cycle stuff. I still believe that the biggest thing that we've got looking at this week is, of course, this chart right here, which is the New York Stock Exchange Index chart. Weekly chart, 3 drives to a top. We'll be right back, folks. 877-927-6648.
Markets can rise and fall like the tides. Subscribe to Basil Chapman's newsletter, The Opening Call, and you too can ride the wave. Basil Chapman is an authority in technical analysis. His Chapman Wave trading system has been helping traders identify trends and capitalize on momentum in the markets since 1984. TFNN invites you to test Basil's proprietary Chapman Wave trading methodology with a monthly subscription to the Opening Call newsletter for only $149. Your subscription to the Opening Call comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, as well as daily market updates on key indexes, stocks, and commodities. Ride the wave. Sign up for the Opening Call risk-free today.
If you're not currently using the TAS Profile Scanner when looking at setting up your trading opportunities, then your arsenal is short a mighty weapon. The TAS Profile Scanner is a standalone piece of software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, TAS understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. You also gain access to the webinar that Steve Dahl and Tom O'Brien just hosted, The Best Way to Use the TAS Profile Scanner to Profit. This webinar archive is available for all subscribers immediately upon signing up. All new subscriptions also come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Start your subscription by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the TAS Profile Scanner under the Services tab. Sign up today.
Hey there, I'm Andy Arbertine with Tiger Precious Metals and Stones. Whether you're looking to buy and sell precious metals or trying to find the perfect diamond ring, I'm here to help. I have over 15 years of experience with diamonds and precious metals. You can call me directly at 727-329-8245, and I will personally answer any questions you have and help you find exactly what you're looking for. I will be your personal concierge in the metal and stone business. Give me a call today, 727-329-8245.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Okay, we're back, and Mr. Z's asking the question, did I ever spend any time with Buddy Hackett? No, I never did meet him at all. He was on the Johnny Carson show once when we were there, but I never got to meet him. I did meet Rodney Dangerfield, and I used to see Jonathan Winters all the time. He was in Pacific Palisades there at Schwab's, where I used to go to have my popcorn and hamburgers and stuff, and where Jerry West and Vin Scully hung out, and that's how I got to meet those, and Bob Gillian and all those guys. But that was a really great place to meet celebrities. I mean, they weren't celebrities when they were there at the diner there. It was a pharmacy with the old-fashioned diner, you know, with the cherry cokes and the whole bit, and the popcorn machine. Those were back in the old days. But no, I never did. But Jonathan Winters would go there, and he would actually entertain people. He literally would stay there and just chat with people. And oh my God, he was just absolutely incredible. And he was really a nice man. Just really. In fact, he was the reason. Well, Robin Williams was born, but his mentor, of course, was Jonathan Winters, and they were very, very close. And Jonathan Winters lived a great life. He ended up living in Santa Barbara the last part of his life, and he did really well. He was always bothered with mental problems, not schizophrenia, but paranoia. But he was under medication. He always did pretty well. Anyway, one other horse racing story. One of my very, very favorites was the one from the Wood Memorial of 1964. I was doing an internship up at Northwestern University Pharmacy School, and I was living with my grandfather. I had 2 months up there, and this was April. And my grandfather's good buddy was a handicapper, and he also was a bookie in the area, and he loved this horse. He said if it's raining, he said the horse has got a really good chance, and the horse was named Quadrangle. And so it was raining that day, and so I bet $20 across the board. And I wasn't married, but I was engaged, and I told my fiance that I had bet, $60, and she got very, very angry with me. And I said, wait a minute. I said, this is my money. $60 is not going to change my. She says, well, you can't do that. She said, gambling is no good. And we got a terrible argument. Wish I'd have broken up, but that didn't happen. No, don't mean that at all. Anyway, so I went back, and Scotty was the name of the guy, and I said, Scotty, I want to bet $150. I want $50 across the board on the horse, and that was a lot of money back in those days, folks. Anyway, it was raining like crazy, just like he said it was. The horse went off at 17-1. And he won. And so I made some really good money, the equivalent of a couple months pay and stuff, but I never told anybody except my grandfather. So anyway, that's just another one. That's a whole bunch of them, but I don't want to waste any time here because that's just the way it is. I have one other human interest story. I had a phone call yesterday from a very, very old client of mine that all of you know who he was. His name is Ben Stein. And I met Ben many, many years ago before he was famous. He was at Drexel. He wasn't one of my customers, but his father was Herb Stein, who was a world-renowned economist, and so is Ben Stein. But I got to meet Ben in 2004. We were in Las Vegas at the Money Show, and we were sitting at a table there with one of the bankers there, Gary Tilken, and Gary had invited Ben Stein to come to do a presentation and stuff about foreign currency. I had no idea how smart the guy was, and I was on the panel with him, and he was so smart that I couldn't believe it, how smart he was with all that stuff. But we're sitting at the blackjack table, and I'm sitting there with Gary Tilken, and Ben comes up and he said, says hello, and Gary didn't know that Ben and I knew each other. And so a little young girl comes in, sits next to me, and I've got French cuffs on, and my French cuff has 222 on it from the Gartley 222. And she says, "Gee, that's interesting." She said, "Where did you get the 222 on your shirts like this?" And I said, "Well, my company's been in a leveraged buyout at the New York Stock Exchange, and we were just bought out at $222 a share, so I keep that as a memento." She says, "Wow." She says, "That is so cool." She said, "Would you like to have a drink?" And I thought Ben Stein was going to fall off the table. He said, "How in the world did you ever think of anything like that?" And I said, "What am I supposed to say?" And he laughed. Anyway, she went out. He reminds me he told me what Rodney Dangerfield said about stuff like that. He says, "It's very difficult to find a good wine that goes with peanut butter and jelly." Anyway, let's move on with these markets, folks. We're watching this very closely. Please pay attention to this. I've been doing this a long time, and watch this. You'll be able to see here that this level up here is really, really important with that 3 weekly highs, 3 drive to a top pattern. I think we're going to go look back at this in a few months, and we're going to see something that's going to be, quite spectacular. Remember, we had our good friend Stan Harley here the other day, and he was calling for a high on the 28th, looking at all those different Lucas numbers, which are aberration of the Fibonacci numbers, and he was off by about 9 hours, if that was in fact the top. Now, maybe, look what the market did yesterday, folks. It was down 50 handles and came all the way back and almost made a new high. And that's the way it goes. So, that's it. We ended up getting stopped out of our Dow Jones yesterday before it rallied another 50 points. We made $500 on it. But the one that's really been good to us, of course, has been the pattern in the crude oil trade. That was very, very good. And I have an announcement to make, folks. I have made a terrible mistake here. These charts that I've been sending out all in the middle of the morning or middle at night and stuff, that I send videos and stuff to the 24/7 people. I've been sending them to the wrong address. I'm going to have that corrected today, so you're going to be getting them in the middle of the night. There was no middle of the night last night because I was too tired, but you'll be getting them up to date from now on. I was sending them to the wrong place, so they were sitting there in Florida. They're in St. Petersburg, waiting, for someone gets in the morning, and then they send them out, which is the way they work regular hours. But now I've got it set up. Hopefully by today, I'll be able to send these out. You'll be able to get them, post haste. I don't want to go to social networking. I don't want to do Twitter or any of these others, Discord or Uncord or whatever they call them, Telegram. I don't want to do any of those. I'll just send it out as a video to the folks so they can take a look at it. To be spot on, we're not going to give you stuff in secondary stuff. We'll try to get it to you as it's happening, and that's what we're shooting for. The other thing that's very interesting here, folks, is that we've had a pretty good break here in the grains. The soybeans broke about $1.50 a bushel, a little bit more, and now we're still in this area. We're still in a terrible supply-demand situation here. So look for these areas, to be a buyer. That's what we were trying to focus on here this week, and next week we'll be looking at them very, very closely because we've got another chance to get down to that area. Mr. Bill said 222 was a low estimate of your IQ. My IQ was 222, all right, if I took the test 3 times. Anyway, the old 222 was from page 222 in Gartley's book, and that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's right. If my picks were so controversial, they would ban you from Twitter. Yeah, well, I don't do any Twitter. I have never had a social networking thing, folks. I don't want one, and so I'm not going to have one. So I've lived this long without it, and I think I can live continuing to find it as we see through this level. Hopefully we'll get Norm Winski to call back in here at the break. 877-927-6648. Hey, Norm, come on in.
Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. The printing presses are working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The U.S. deficit has risen 200% in 1 year with no end in sight. The markets are looking for an additional stimulus bill to get us through this once-in-a-generation pandemic. There is no free lunch, folks. The more stimulus dollars put into the marketplace, the less your dollar is worth each and every day. This is the time to protect yourself with a portion of your portfolio in the metal market. The Gold Report comes out each Monday morning. I bisect and dissect the dollar, silver, gold, the XAU, and the HUI. The Gold Report is a long-term hedge against the dilution of your buying power. The U.S. has put more than $6 trillion into the marketplace in the last 6 months, with more expected in the next few months. The market did and does need the stimulus, but it will have long-term implications on our buying power. The Gold Report comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Go to TFNN.com and order the Gold Report now. Protect your buying power. Order the Gold Report now.
You could be making money off the stock market. And if you're already making money off the stock market, you could be making a lot more. Check out TFNN and Tiger TV and get expert investing advice to give you the power to control your financial future. Go to TFNN.com and find the newsletter for you. Whether you're into trading gold, metals, futures, currencies, or options, you'll get advice and analysis to help you seriously get ahead. TFNN also features trading services with a 30-day money-back guarantee for new subscribers, as well as TFNN's Tiger Den trading room, trading software, and educational webinars for all trading levels. And make sure you check out Tiger TV for free on TFNN.com or TFNN's YouTube channel for live financial content from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern on market days. Stop watching on the sidelines while other people get rich and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks, and I am pleased to announce that we have a very special cameo appearance by none other than Norman, who calls it to the minute Winski, on the line. Norman is in the house. You have my strongest support, my friend. What are you looking for today?
Well, no, I came on to just review what I'd forecast, how things worked out. I got 2 charts to show on the screen share there, and I sent them to TFNN there. And hopefully you can see the chart there, the S&P 500-day lead chart there with an arrow to the 27th. And you can see it's pretty much going sideways. That's not a good setup. We don't like sideways. Newton's law for every action, opposite equal reaction. That would just tell you it's probably going to get more sideways. It did get into a kind of wild whipsaw trading range there, but it was tough sledding to try to play that, So I told my people to get out after about a day or so, if they got in, In contrast, that's a bad model. Here's a good model. There's your July soybeans, and as you can see, I forgot to put the arrow. That's the top there. Let me put an arrow there for you. There we go, right there at the top at 6:30 in the morning on the 27th. That was the top. You see how the beans are going up, and nothing but up until you got there, and then that was the top. And as you know, earlier, they dropped like more than 80 cents.
Yeah, $1 a bushel. Sure did, yeah.
Yeah, in under a day, under 24 hours.
Yeah.
Which is,
we just wanted the next time you come on, we want you to share that about the soybeans again. But we wanted you to come on today to compliment you the fact that you had it right on the money for that day, and you did the same thing. I remember back on May the 15th of 2017, I believe, the market topped on a similar type thing and then dropped about 15%.
I think you're thinking of May 18, 19 of 2015.
2015, I had the right year, but the wrong day. Yeah, the 19th. I remember it was a big moon thing, yeah.
Mercury was turning retrograde within a day of a new moon.
Yeah.
That turned out to be the high of the year.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have you on again soon. So you've kept your membership here at TFNN.
Okay.
So now we've got the charts up so the folks can see that one there on the soybeans there right at 1575, and we hit a low of 1460 or something recently. So that was a big drop. I mean that's a lot of money.
There's your classic model. That's what we're looking for. That we don't always get it, obviously. But it was just like a blow-off.
You mean they don't work all the time?
No, I know it's shocking.
Oh, now you tell me. Shut the front door.
Does that mean I'm out of here now, or what?
No. You're going to be on for one more time. You're good until you make a bad trade, and when you make a bad trade, it's history. You're out of here.
Okay.
Now, listen, I want to wish you a very wonderful weekend. Thanks again. We'll have you on in a few weeks, okay? Let me know when you have time, and
Would you like me to put up my contact information?
Well, you're entitled to a commercial. Go right ahead, Norm. Fire away.
There you go. I got my contact information on the screen share. I didn't send it to TFNN. I'm not quite sure how all this works, so there we go.
Thank you so much for being on, buddy. We really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having me on, and everybody have a great weekend, and feel free to contact me. Got the free classes and so forth, so thanks a lot, Larry. Hey, everybody have a great weekend.
Okay, thank you, Norm. Norm Winski, Astro 10 Trends out of Naples, Florida. All right, folks, let's talk just a second here about the Treasury bonds. The Treasury bonds they went down to that magical 156 level, just a little bit below it, of course, 156.28. Now we rallied about a half a point from that level, but the bond market is in big trouble, folks. It doesn't make any difference what the Fed's going to do. People are going to start to reevaluate whether there's going to be zero interest rates. I don't see that coming. I certainly don't know for sure whether that's going to happen. That's all I can tell you about. The crude oil chart is the one that I put up because I wanted to talk about it next. And if you'll give me 1 second here, I'll bring it up here to take a look at it. We were fortunate enough to get short the crude up there at 65.39, and right now we've dropped quite a bit. We dropped a couple $1,000s into that. So the way we handle that was to put your stop so you guarantee $1,000 profit, and then there's a possibility, because it's such a big sharp down day today and yesterday, that we could have something even bigger. So we're going to be willing to give up $1,000. We have $1,000 profit locked in, and then we're going to put our stop there. The stop on that would be like at 64.90, 64.30. I forget where the stop is. It locks in a profit of $1,000, and if it's right, and this is a Friday, it should close near the low of the day here on Friday. And if it does, then that tells us that we got a chance for something, really, really big. You never know whether you're going to get a big one or not because you have so many wild fluctuations, especially in the oil market. But what we're trying to do is to protect the profit and garner as much out of it as we possibly can on the upside. That's what we're trying to do. Also, we're looking for a buying opportunity in gold. I think we're going to get that next week. We'll see whether we do or not, but it's have some really good volatility in that gold market now, and that's it. Okay, Ruby's asking, how much is the maximum you're allowed on an ES trade? The most you have to risk on an ES position, Ruby, from my opinion, is 8 points. That's $450. And believe me, if the market's moving really fast, like it's one of those days where it's moving, 15, 20 points in a few minutes, you don't want to get involved in those kind of markets. Usually, like the markets that we're having today, are not too crazy. They're trading just nicely. We went right down to that key level at 41.75. Took that out, had a little bit of a rally, but $400 is really the most you really have to do. It's really because you're either going to be right or wrong. These numbers are usually spot on today, folks, and if they don't work, you just got to stand aside. That's the bottom line. That, from my opinion, I could be wrong, and I'm wrong many times, but it's all about risk control. If you want to learn to do this yourself, it's really simple, folks. Just learn how to do the harmonic numbers, and it's really simple. Just take it. Just give you an example right here. We got the S&P trading at roughly, let's say 4,200. Okay, if you take 3% of 4,200, that gives you 12. Okay, 3 into 4,000 is 12. So 12 points right now is basically the harmonic number for crude oil. For the S&P. When the S&P started trading, and I first started doing these numbers back in August of '82, the range was 3.5 to 5 points a day. Of course, it was $500 a point, but that's what it was. Now, all it is now, it's 3 times that. So 12 points is the maximum, but I think that's too much. That's why I just risk $400, 8 points, $400. You're either going to be right or wrong, and believe me, you can afford that if you don't get too crazy. So that's the main thing, to pay close attention to. But here we have Friday. In an up week, and we're going to see whether that's going to mean anything or not. We'll have to wait and see. We've got the soybeans moving really good now. They just popped up quite a bit, so there's another one that's moving pretty good. So we were trying to buy those today at $14.88. We didn't get bought, and away they went. So there's nothing you can do about that. So we'll take a little break here. 877-927-6648.
Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
The technology around us is changing every day. With so much happening, it can seem impossible to keep up with all the information. David White's investment newsletter, The Technology Insider, is designed to give you all the information you need to understand the technology that shapes today's markets and tomorrow's future. David White has made his living staying on the cutting edge of technology. His weekly newsletter will give you specific recommendations for value tech stocks, as well as entry prices, target prices, and stops to set for each trade. Dave delivers his weekly newsletters every Friday with updates throughout the week. You can get the Technology Insider at TFNN.com for only $37.50. Sign up for David's newsletter, The Technology Insider, and get an inside look at everything the technology sector has to offer. Try it risk-free today with our 30-day money-back guarantee. TFNN, educating investors.
Are China A-shares hot or not? If you trade China A-shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A-share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A-shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
Okay, folks, I've been asked a question about the euro, and, the main thing that I want to bring to your attention here is you'll notice that the three-drive pattern that you see here, it doesn't have good symmetry, but it is a three-drive pattern because you have higher tops. But what you're looking at is if you see that dark channel line up at the top there, you notice how each one of them hits exactly that's the geometry of the market, folks. The mathematics, I think, is the most important part. That's the Fibonacci numbers that we look at and the numbers of sacred geometry, but it really holds up really well. Now if you'll notice the bottom channel line that I've got there, that's right at the 61% retracement that we're looking at right now as we're looking at the euro. Now look at the falling knife syndrome that you've got in the euro yesterday and today. Well, that tells you better be really careful down here. But the real reasoning why we're looking at this, the reason why numbers and patterns and stuff are so very important is because when they don't work, I'm going to repeat that again, and when they don't work, that's when you know that you've got to stand aside. So that's what they're really for. Remember what the two major rules that Warren Buffett has. Rule number one is don't lose any money, and rule number two is don't break rule number one. Well, unfortunately, to do this, you have to take some amount of risk, but the quality of the risk that you're taking is what's so very, very important. So pay very, very close attention to that. It's extremely important as you look at these things, unfold today. So that's what we're watching here this morning, and we'll see whether it works on all of these different markets, folks. If you do the work yourself, you're going to be able to understand that these how the markets work. If you just understand the natural flow of what's going on up and down, what the ratios are doing, you're going to have a pretty good idea of how these markets, actually work. And that's the key to, being successful is to keep your risks as literally as small as possible. I wanted to bring to your attention one other chart that I think is pretty important because it was a precursor of the weakness we were expecting in the crude oil. Mr. Bill's saying even when it doesn't work, it's giving you information. You're absolutely right, Bill, because these numbers are so accurate. And when they don't work, that's telling you that that's it. Hey, one of my best traders that I ever trained was John Lewis and Mike Smalley down in Nashville, Tennessee. They're option traders. And boy, their favorite trade was a market that breaks above or below a 78% level because, it's trading with the trend. And you almost have a very high probability of moving to a 127 or a 1.618. And when you have options and you're selling them, you have a big premium in your favor. believer, and that's what they've done, and they've done incredibly well through the years. But they're option sellers, which you should be. Remember, if you go into the option pit, there's always little badges that they wear down. Well, they used to when Norm was there down at the CBOE. It's a big badge that said "Sell an option, buy a Mercedes," because selling option, you're selling a asset that is depreciating from the time you originally buy it, and then also you have a premium built into it. So it's pretty much a win-win situation. That's why 85% of option sellers win, 85% of option buyers lose. That's true. So you've got to pay very, very close attention to that. It's extremely important. Also, I wanted to bring this other chart up to you because of the timing stuff that we're looking at here. This is from last Sunday's letter that we were looking for a potential key timing here in the stock market. And we've seen the 3-drive pattern on the weekly basis. You realize that the Dow Jones did not make a new high this week. All the other indices pretty much did, but the Dow didn't. That's why it was the weakest. And I think that that's probably an indication of where we stand on some of these things. So let's remind ourselves, it's not about how much money you make, it's about how much money you don't lose. And that's very, very important. Also, we want to talk just a tiny bit here about the silver and gold. I want to bring the silver up because watch the silver very closely, folks. We need to get it below the $26, but below that $25.50 level. $25.50 is going to be a very, very important spot in silver because that will equal the last correction that we had in mid-April. And believe me, folks, if you go out to try to buy silver rounds, the little coins printed by the government with the eagles on them, double eagles, they're nearly impossible. You can find one or two, but to buy 100 or 200, it's really difficult. So, and the premiums have really expanded to areas I've never seen them at before, but that means there's demand. And so those are a few things that we want to be, very, 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 very cautious about. If you have any questions, folks, it's 877-927-6648. And I think it's something that we want to pay very, very close attention to. Now, let's take a quick look at one cross rate that we're watching very, very closely in here. That is the Canadian dollar, because what we've done now is we've popped up above this level of 8,100. We broke above that resistance we had at 61.8, and now we're approaching the 82 level in the Canadian. So this is one of the focuses coming this weekend in the letter. We'll be watching the foreign exchange markets closely because of that butterfly or 3-drive pattern we had on the U.S. dollar index, where we had the explosive move today, up in the U.S. dollar, down in the euro. So there's a perfect example of how the little patterns will, get you in without risking a whole lot. And sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong, but those are the ones that you're looking at. So sort of pay close attention to these because it's very, very important, what we're watching as we look at these markets unfold. Remember, a bad close today, which to me in the S&P would be a close that trades below 41.65. That would tell us that something dramatic has happened, and the buyers are starting to have some second thoughts, and there hasn't been any panic selling, folks. And believe me, there's a lot of people out here with Robinhood and Reddit and all the others that have never been in a really bad moving down market where they can take a lot of your money away very, very fast. And that's the kind you stay away from. Now, that's one of my favorite kind of markets because it trades in a special way that I've covered several times during the live trading sessions that we've had, and I'm going to be reviewing those in the videos. I'll be sending more videos out just as soon as I get the program to put the videos out on time so that you get them within a few minutes of when I send them out. And that'll be, I think, a big help. You've got to use some common sense with these things, of course, but they give you a pretty good idea of what direction to be on, and especially when you're wrong. When you're wrong, the market will move dramatically one way or another, and that's what you're really trying to look at when you're following some of these things. So just keep in mind that it's not about how much money you make, it's about how much money you don't lose. So if you go to the track, you're down there at Churchill Downs in Louisville on Saturday, they have a $2 window. They have a $2 window, so you don't have to go to the $50 window, which I never go to the $50 window. I go to the $10 window. Anyway, that's what we're watching. Okay, we'll hope to see if number 14, I believe, is what the Rock Your World number is. He's going to be a live horse, folks. It's going to be a little wet track there today, but that horse has, if you bet him to place, I would say you have a better than 70% chance of, well, let's say 60% chance of cashing a ticket that'll pay you more than you bought it for. But remember, these are 13-year-old kids, folks. A 3-year-old horse is like a 13-year-old teenager. And you know how rambunctious they are and how quickly they learn and develop. So we'll see. 877-927-6648.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern, for free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN, educating investors.
Markets can rise and fall like the tides. Subscribe to Basil Chapman's newsletter, The Opening Call, and you too can ride the wave. Basil Chapman is an authority in technical analysis. His Chapman Wave trading system has been helping traders identify trends and capitalize on momentum in the markets since 1984. TFNN invites you to test Basil's proprietary Chapman Wave trading methodology with a monthly subscription to the Opening Call newsletter for only $149. Your subscription to the Opening Call comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee, as well as daily market updates on key indexes, stocks, and commodities. Ride the wave! Sign up for the Opening Call risk-free today.
Introducing Primal Edge.
Today, it's even more important to take a supplement that complements your health. Primal Edge is specifically formulated to boost your immune system and help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Our early ancestors found all their nutritional requirements in the wild environment. But today, our food sources don't contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that we need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated humic and fulvic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They've been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, without them, life cannot exist.
That's right, Ellen. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, just $89, exclusively at TFNN.com.
Hi, folks. This is Steve Rhodes. Stay tuned for another great hour of the Trader's Edge, heard here at TFNN.com.
Okay, folks, I've been asked to take a look at the Dow Jones, the trade that we did. We sold that Monday. The futures up around that 34,025 level. And when we went above the 786 yesterday, I assumed that we better at least keep our powder dry and not mess with it very much. So That's what we're watching. Now, we've been asked to, the reason why is risk control again, folks. They'll give it plenty of chance to get in it. Here is the next one we want to have had a question about. Of course, here is the Russell, and it topped yesterday. Let's get the Russell up here. You'll be able to see it without too much trouble. We've got a caller calling in today about silver and gold. Jim, are you there?
Yes, Larry. Hi. Quickly, I want to tell you this is what the dealers are paying right now for a gold eagle. They are paying spot plus 5%. For a tube of silver eagles, they are paying spot plus $5.
Wow.
So that shows you what the demand is. That's what the dealer's paying now. Now this is a wholesale guy, so he
sure.
a lot of volume, but your local coin dealer is not going to give you spot plus. But they're all sold out of inventory to sell.
Well, we're going to know where the outlook on gold is going to be here in this coming week, because we're going to come down to what I think is pretty good support, down about another $30 from where we are. Well, $20 from where we are right now, and then we're going to see whether it can really move, because it's been acting relatively sluggish, given the fact that we've seen other things move quite a bit. But thanks for the input on that. I've been watching that quite a bit, but to see a $5 premium on a silver is just really unbelievable. I mean.
No, that's a tube that's obviously uncirculated, sure. 20 or 25 coins per tube. And then if you, I know we're running out of time. If you have a quick chance to look at platinum, because the platinum eagles are selling for spot plus 150, and they're buying for spot plus 60.
Yeah, I know. I never did like platinum because most people don't trust them because they have to be assayed. And that's back when they were $1,000 premium to gold. Thanks for joining us, Jim. We'll be back. Yeah, we'll see you folks on Monday, folks. We're going to have none other than David Paul, I believe. So talk to you then.